Information fueled.
Opinion driven.
This is Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis.
And so, my fellow Americans,
We talk news.
5:06, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. How are you? Welcome into a Tuesday, May 6th of 2025. We have a lot of news to get to. I don't know, Joan, I was listening to your report of, ICE in Nashville and all of this. And I've got all this audio from the mayor, Freddie O'Connell, from Jenny Welch, from the Metro City Council, Jeff Preptit. I don't know if that's his name.
I don't know who that is.
Metro City Council.
Okay.
And some others as well. Heidi Campbell, State Senator Heidi Campbell. And I guess I think we just have a truly differing opinion as to illegal immigration laws and immigration laws in this country and whether or not they should be enforced. There is a true disagreement among Tennesseans. And I love the audio bite that you played where somebody from, I think it was SMV, went and they spoke to Governor Lee, where Governor Lee said, listen, Tennessee has a long history of, working with the federal government and dealing with illegal immigration. And Governor Lee is absolutely right. And he was also right when he said that Donald Trump was elected in large part on the issues of illegal immigration. And so we have the media who, I don't know about you, Joan, but I'm watching all of this and I'm listening to all of this. And you want to talk about fear mongering. And I do understand that, there are certain communities in our city and in our state that are worried right now about ICE and the dreaded white van and all these things. I get it. I do understand. Those communities are concerned. But here's the deal. There are millions of people across this country and millions of people in this state, as a matter of fact, who overwhelmingly did vote for Donald Trump. And they want our immigration laws enforced. And here's the other thing. When you look at the coverage and you listen to the likes of Heidi Campbell, let me play some of this audio. KGB, make sure my audio's up. This is Heidi Campbell, Tennessee State Senator.
Without due process or any sort of legitimate reason and snatch people up from their families off the streets, then there's no reason why they wouldn't decide to snatch people who, just didn't see things the way that they did off the streets.
What an idiot. Wait, did you hear what she said?
Play it again. Just
in other words, what she's saying is, okay, so they're taking, snatching people off the street, right? So then she makes this quantum leap. And now she's saying, well, the Trump administration is just going to start snatching people off the street that disagrees with them. Listen to how she frames this. Again, Heidi Campbell, Matt Murphy's best friend, by the way, totally kidding. And you know what? If she said that and she was in my studio, I would throw her out too. I really would. So listen to what she says.
Of legitimate reason and snatch people up from their families off the streets, then there's no reason why they wouldn't decide to snatch people who, just didn't see things the way that they did off the streets.
Really? So I happen to know for a fact that Mayor Freddie O'Connell and State Senator Heidi Campbell both disagree with Donald Trump and Bill Lee and the Republicans here in the state of Tennessee. Do they really think, I would ask Heidi Campbell, do you really believe that you are going to be snatched off the street because you disagree with the president, you disagree with the governor, you disagree by and large with the Tennessee state legislature, the General Assembly? Because that's what she said. She's basically saying that if you don't agree with the administration, with the president and the Republicans, then they're going to snatch you off the street. Can I tell you something? Not that I'm prone to snatch people off the street, but the last person I would ever want to snatch off the street is Heidi Campbell.
And decide to snatch people who, just didn't see things the way that they did off the streets. I mean, that is a very slippery slope, and we are very, we're wrong to support that kind of action.
So
it's like saying because they had tattoos, they were being snatched off the street.
Right. And it's just so
thing.
ridiculous because nowhere, at least in these audio bites, that these are. I think these are from Channel 5. I grabbed a bunch of audio from different newscasts and so forth, but nowhere. And I thought it was interesting. And I've got a bunch of audio from Mayor Freddie O'Connell as well. Nowhere does anybody ask these folks, okay, but what if they are gang members? What if they had stolen guns? What if they had illegal drugs?
They want so bad for this to be Nazi Germany. They're so desperate for it.
Well, they are. And Heidi Campbell's comments about, well, they're just going to start snatching people off the streets that they disagree with is just ridiculous. I mean, you want to talk about fear-mongering, and that's what the Democrats do, right? They fear-monger. Now, I do understand, just so you folks know, I do understand in the wake of the ICE arrests and 150 people taken by buses and sent to probably Louisiana, wherever it is, I do understand that this would put fear in a community of illegal aliens. But if you're an illegal alien and you've got a stolen gun and you've got drugs, well, then you probably should be scared of the authorities. This is Ginny Welch, Metro City Council.
It's designed to be shocking and frightening so that people will remove themselves from situations, maybe self-deport, whatever, It's designed to put fear in people's lives and to let people know that the big hand of government can come down and snatch your life away from you in a heartbeat.
It was the big hand of government that literally opened the door to our country, Joe Biden, and let all of these people in, that big hand of government that Ginny Welch, Metro City Council, talks about. And again, they act like this was so random. The thing that I love the most about all this, Joan, is when they say, oh, these people were targeted. Well, yeah, they're illegal aliens. So, I mean, am I missing something with this whole these folks were targeted argument? Because if it's ICE and ICE's job is to go find illegal aliens, then yes, they are targeting illegal aliens. What am I missing here? Nothing? I don't think I'm missing anything. This is Jeff Preptit, again, Metro City Council.
These are our neighbors. These are our small business owners. These are our laborers. These are people who help to make Nashville what it is. To see our federal government constantly attacking some of the most vulnerable people in our community is beyond infuriating.
So again, Jeff Preptit, I don't know if I'm saying his name right or not, but Metro City Council, and they're talking about how these are our most vulnerable communities. I don't really know what else to say. It feels like what we have here is just a serious disagreement over whether or not we should be enforcing our immigration laws. I mean, isn't that really what this all stems from? Now, Ginny Welch, she was talking about how this is all part of Donald Trump's intimidation, where he now wants to give, and we spoke about this, I guess last week we talked about this, about President Trump's self-deportation program, where he wants to give $1,000 to illegal aliens to self-deport. Now, I've got very mixed feelings about telling folks to self-deport and giving them $1,000 to do it. Because on the one hand, I get what the president is trying to do because there's no way we could get all of these people out of our country. Joe Biden let in millions. He flew in millions of people. And so giving them $1,000, it's like, okay, so we'll give you $1,000, you self-deport, then you fill out all the correct paperwork, and you'll more than likely get back in. It feels like that's what it is. But on the other hand, why are we rewarding bad behavior? I mean, can somebody answer that question? Why are we going to give somebody $1,000 to self-deport when they broke our immigration laws in the first place? I do understand there is a certain practicality to all of this, where there's no way that we're going to be able to get all of these people out. This has been the problem from day one. when we were talking about illegal immigration in this country. Donald Trump started talking about the biggest mass deportation program, I think, in the history of America. And we were all saying, well, how are you going to do that? How exactly is that going to work? Because we don't have the people, we don't have the resources. And I think we all predicted, I don't know, maybe some of us predicted, that there were also going to be a lot of legal challenges as well. And so now Trump is at the point where he's just like, we'll give $1,000 to get out. By the way, that is our poll, the Daily Dan poll. Watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, 997WTN.com. You can also watch us on X, and you can check out the radio show, video, streaming, all that stuff. But if you go to the YouTube page, that is our Daily Dan poll, which is, do you approve of Donald Trump, I'm paraphrasing, giving $1,000 to illegal aliens for them to self-deport? Now, what are people saying so far, KGB?
I'm actually kind of surprised by this. 78% say yes.
Well, that's the practical nature of WTN listeners.
I thought because it would be giving money to illegal immigrants, that'd be maybe a no, just because, like, why are we giving them the money?
Well, that's how I feel.
Instead of, like, I think someone said in the comments on YouTube, like, homeless veterans maybe can use that $1,000, even though in hindsight, that probably wouldn't be enough to them get out of the streets.
Right.
So,
yeah, but what about the effort to do this to save us money? Because it costs upwards of $17,000, something like that, to deport somebody through the whole process. But if we give them a plane ticket and $1,000, it's a little more than $4,000.
And that's what I mean, Joan, about the practical nature of what Donald Trump is doing. I think Trump, and I've heard him say this. Have we done traffic? We haven't done. No. Joan, is there anything going on?
Let me tell you. Just a crash in Madison on Myatt Drive at East Old Hickory Boulevard. That's it.
Not very good. And there's some spotty fog.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Did you see that coming in?
No.
When I got out of my car to come to work, the parking lot was like a horror movie. Like something was going to come out of the fog.
Oh, really?
It was pretty thick.
Okay.
The Aqua Monster.
The Aqua Monster.
Or like that movie, The Mist.
I think I have. I think KGB is just on some shrooms this morning.
Right.
I think that's what it is.
I've never done drugs in my life.
Anyway, so I think that for Trump, I think there's a practical nature to what he is doing. Mm-hmm. And I get it, pragmatic. And Trump has always said that sometimes you've just got to look at a situation and be pragmatic and practical about it. He knows that he's not going to be able to deport all these people, which is why he wants to open Alcatraz back up, rebuild and open Alcatraz. Bad idea. I already talked about that yesterday. Not practical. But I think that he's just looking at the cards that he has, and this is what he wants to do. Give him $1,000 and a plane ticket. See ya. Now, if you were an illegal alien, you know what? This may be the better. Maybe we should do this as a Daily Dan poll. If you were an illegal alien, would you take the $1,000 and a plane ticket? With the cards the way that they are being played out now.
It's a tough question for someone that's a citizen.
No,
it's not.
No, but as a mom,
I don't believe so.
As a mom, I am thinking, and maybe not everybody thinks like this, but I'm watching what's happening, and there's women with children that were born here. And if the government's giving them $1,000, but they have to leave their kids, they may decide against that.
Yeah.
So I haven't heard anything about whether the government says, okay, you can take your kid too.
Well, they can.
They can.
Tom Homan said that. If you want to take your kids, you can.
But are they paying for them to go too? Are they buying them a plane ticket? Are they paying the $1,000 for the kid too? So I think that matters to a mom. I think. I'm trying to get into their heads, thinking about, their issues of having kids with them as well. That could be abused, as we all know.
Oh, yeah.
So, in my humble opinion, there would have to be some type of testing to make sure that that's actually your kid. And now we're not just trafficking kids across the border.
4121 says $1,000 is cheaper to make them go away than pay to keep them here and support them. So
Fair.
there is that.
But how long, my thought is like, well, if they get the 1,000, will they just try to cross again? I mean, it's obviously going to be difficult.
No, it's going to be a lot harder. That's the point. Is that it's going to be a lot harder for them to cross because we're actually now protecting the border, as President Trump has said. 99.999% more effective at protecting the border. So that's what's going on.
Do you think the news helps with that, of how like what they've said on like media and stuff? Do you think that like discourages a lot of crossings more than it did previously?
Yeah, because part of what made the illegal immigration come down when Donald Trump first came into office the first time was he, and I think it was Jeff Sessions, they were really unwelcoming. They utilized messaging that was very anti-illegal immigration, and the border crossings, the illegal border crossings, they crashed in the first part of his administration because he was protecting the border. You get the message out. You are unwelcome here. The reason why they did, why Joe Biden had so many people coming across our southern border is because he literally, and he messaged that the door is open, come on in.
He also paid them.
He paid them, and we gave them all kinds of benefits. He literally flew them into America.
Put them up in hotels.
Yeah,
put them up in hotels. I mean, it goes on.
Wasn't
and
it
on.
a debit card too? It was something absurd.
A debit card, food, all kinds of stuff.
And you know what's funny? Because I was playing that audio earlier from Heidi Campbell and Peptit, whatever his I'm like
just
12.
not sure that's his name.
I'm like 12.
Pepto-Bismol? Can we just call him that?
And of course, I pulled this soundbite of the white van.
There was ICE activity reported here along Briley Parkway. Our photojournalist Thomas Davis was there. He's telling us he saw a white van pulling over people. He says the stops were quick, but unsure at this point why those people were being pulled over.
So, I mean, did
it have free candy on the side of the van?
Right, it's unclear. Means we don't know if this is a traffic stop because this guy was just racing through the streets and it's, some white guy in a car. Like, they don't even know.
They have no idea.
But they see a van pulling somebody over and immediately it's really frustrating to listen to our media, because it was only a month ago that Channel 4 and all the others were so concerned about, going out and talking to people about how much crime there is in their neighborhoods. So many cars have been stolen. There's a rash of car thefts that have taken place all across Nashville, and people are really frustrated by it. And why isn't there more, patrols in my neighborhood? And the amount of crime and the number of shootings, and everybody was so upset about it. And now nobody cares about that. They only care that the people that may be causing those crimes are being picked off the street and sent home.
Well, and I didn't hear all of this hand wringing when we all found out about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who he was let go by the Tennessee Highway Patrol. And none of these news organizations have any questions about this. It takes, Michael Patrick Leahy and talk radio to start screaming about this before anybody actually in the mainstream media starts covering it. And so you're right, Joan. It's what you choose. I've always said this. What you choose to be outraged over, I think, tells you who you are. And if you're not outraged over, human trafficking happening in the state of Tennessee, where the Tennessee Highway Patrol just lets this dude go with 8 guys in his car, none of them can speak English, and clearly he's human trafficking. If you're not outraged by that, knowing that these guys are in this country illegally, you don't know what they're capable of, you don't know who they are, you don't know what their past history is. If you're not outraged by that, and if local media is not covering those kinds of stories in our state, then what good are they? Be honest with you. You are what you outraged are over. And so, for me, if they're outraged over ICE simply doing their job and protecting America's sovereignty and making sure that our streets are safe for our citizens, if you're upset about that, well, then I think that says a lot about you, Democrats. 525, and Joan Jones is in the WTN Newsroom. Joan.
Yeah, more traffic stops. We'll tell you about those in South Nashville this morning, another perspective. And also that effort to help illegal aliens decide to self-deport. We'll have what ABC News has to say about that coming up here at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.